seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A three-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Back to throw. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the paddock. The Giants from the paddock. The Giants from the paddock.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them with my faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings, long drive, left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins.
Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. Gets it goodbye. One out.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a jam. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
All right, well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of the show. Better late than never, but I had a little sound gremlin this morning here in the not yet completed home studio, but we got it worked out, and we are ready to roll here on a overcast Monday. Looks like most of the rain has made its way through the area. Maybe some showers coming a little bit later on in the week, but the day that matters from an outdoor standpoint, to me and many people like me, is Friday. The last forecast I saw for Friday is just a minuscule chance of rain, 20% or so, and a temperature approaching 70 degrees. Why is that so important for Friday? You don't know. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed if you don't know the answer to that question. It's the opening of D1 college baseball. We will be live from Latham Stadium for Furman's first game of the 2018 season against Marist, and that will begin a trek throughout the course of a 56-game season, regular season, in 90 days, culminating with the SoCon tournament in May at Fluor Field at the West End, and hopefully a conference championship and a bid into the NCAA tournament for Brett Harker's club. It's going to be fun, and you know me, man. I am jacked up and ready to roll. But you know what? It was a big, big weekend for Furman sports altogether. Everybody is in action. The crossover season has started, and from a broadcast standpoint, it'll hit beginning this weekend on Friday. For our friends in the sports information department and the game management departments, it's already hit, because not only is basketball continuing, but now you have softball that has played, you have tennis that has played, you have lacrosse that has played, and right on down the line, and in tennis and lacrosse, of course, that's men's and women's. Track will be heating up for the outdoor season. There's going to be so many things going on that it keeps people's heads spinning, but in a good way. And it helps that a lot of these teams are pretty daggone good. The level of competition here at Furman has been outstanding. And in fact, I'll tell you how exciting it can get in a sport even that you're not so familiar with. We're sitting on press row at our TV broadcast location on Saturday. Bryant Lambert and I can't remember if it was before the women's game started or if it was between games of the women's and men's doubleheader. But in any event, we're watching, Bryant pulls up on his laptop, we're watching the finish of the Furman lacrosse team's game at nationally ranked North Carolina, and they're down at one juncture, I think, 13-10 in the waning moments, about maybe a little less than halfway to go through the final period, come storming back, take a lead, and then give up a goal right before the end of regulation and finally get beat in overtime. But I know nothing about lacrosse except it looks like hockey on grass. And yet, we were sitting there watching this thing and watching the drama build, and man, are they going to pull off what would be a significant major upset at this stage of Richie Meade's building process? Remember, building the program from scratch, and they came that close to beating North Carolina on the road. It was fun, and there were a lot of people gathered around watching it, and it was, well, let's just say what it was. It was disappointing when they could not pull it off at the end, but it was fun to watch. So you got all these things going on, and I tell you, I have said this a number of times, even in a big school, all the years I spent working with the folks at Clemson, even in a big school, I would not want to be in the sports information office. I spend enough time away from my family as it is now broadcasting games, and I'm very, very fortunate to do what I do it at the place that I do, and I see my family significantly more than I did in the days when I was a sports writer and some of the other things that was going on. But still, I'm on the road a lot, especially in basketball, and even more so in baseball season. That 3 months of baseball season, we're away quite a bit. But if you're a sports information director or work in a sports information department and you have multiple teams that you have to cover, there are stretches where you hardly ever see your family. And just think about how much staff a big school has, and then come down to Furman, and Hunter Reed's staff, I believe, is it 4 people? It's Hunter, it's Jordan, it is Chandler, and it is Julie Perry. Have I missed anybody? I think that's it. 4 full-time people. They get some student help in some places occasionally and help for some other places. But no, that's not for me. Those guys work too hard, guys and gals. It's you just have to tip your cap to them because they are constantly going at this time of year. But in any event, it was a great weekend for Furman, and the highlight, of course, was the beatdown of Wofford at Timmons Arena at the second game of the men's-women's doubleheader on Saturday. A game that saw Furman fall behind 11-2, and you kind of wondered, okay, is it here we go again, coming off of back-to-back losses in conference play, and then recalling that they fell behind, I think it was 10-0 at Wofford the first time they played up in Spartanburg, and you wondered, okay, is this going to be more of the same? And instead, after a timeout, Furman came out guns a-blazing and just ran away from the Terriers and beat them in every single facet of the game. It was an incredible performance. Again, especially considering you go back exactly a week and you blow the 17-point lead against the Citadel. You come to Wednesday night and you have the disappointing performance in the loss to UNC Greensboro. So you kind of wonder where the team's head is mentally. But Bob Ritchie's approach, game by game, flush the other ones, even the wins. Celebrate them in the moment, flush them, get rid of them, and start getting ready for the next one. That is an approach that has suited this team well. And, everybody talks about taking one game at a time. Everybody talks about it. But not everybody can do it. And at least for one night, this team did it. And, boy, did they look great in the process. One more home game in this 3-game home stand against Chattanooga on Thursday. And then it's back out on the road this coming Saturday as the Paladins will travel to Samford to take on the Bulldogs. When we come back from our first break, we'll let you hear from head coach Bob Ritchie in his post-game press conference. We'll talk more about the game and also about the other things going on at Furman over the weekend. As I said, it was just a phenomenal weekend, plus much more. Big weekend in sports. The Olympics are on. I want to know, are you watching the Olympics, and are you engaged in any sports in particular, anything that has really captivated your attention, or maybe something that's coming that you're waiting for? We'll talk about all that when we resume after the break. First, though, a word about the Atlanta Bread Company located in Cherrydale Plaza, right down the road from campus. I remind you every time that we have a chance to get together that they have been so great to this show. The commitment that Jeff Massey and his friends have and his staff have made to this show is something that you need to go in and thank them for if you enjoy this program. And oh, by the way, the food is fantastic and the people are even better. My wife and I had dinner there actually twice over the weekend, so we really enjoy what they do, and we know that you will too. So stop by and see them, Cherrydale Plaza, the Atlanta Bread Company, and tell them you heard about them here on the show. First break, and then when we come back, Bob Ritchie's press conference and some thoughts on the win over Wofford. When we return, this is a Dan Scott Show. Don't go away.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT unpimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget the gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. Case swings and hits this one back into right center field on the run. Jackson, and that ball is gone. Opposite field home run right over the Bon Secours St. Francis sign at the big HD video scoreboard. Number 9 of the year for Landon. Ties him for the team lead with Brandon Elmy. It's a 6-2 game. Boy, he hit that ball hard on a line the other way. And that's an example of why Brett Harker says that his swing really transcends to the next level. You know, we all do things out of rote behavior. You know, we just do things that we don't think about. We have become trained muscle memory, and you do certain things. I can't tell you the number of times that I go out of here at home, and I turn out left out of my driveway, and I get to the end of our road. And to come to Furman, which I do every day, I take a left at the end of the road. I can't tell you how many times that I have been heading towards Easley or been heading towards someplace else that requires going right at the end of the road. And just out of force of habit, I go left. Kind of the same thing at the studio back at the booth. I know where everything is. I do it without thinking about it. And here I'm kind of feeling my way through because I haven't done enough consistently here yet. But that's going to change. That is going to change. Anyway, kind of get the idea. Landon Kay, that was a home run against Clemson. Coming back in, our countdown of highlights. We started last week with the top 9, and I say top 9, no real particular order of importance until we get to numbers 2 and 1. Those are the ones that I think are the 2 biggest plays of the season last year. But that was, let's see, we left off Friday at 9, 8, 7. That was number 6. So I still have to get to, or that was number 7. I still have to get to number 6, I believe. Or that was 6, and I got to get to 5. We'll do one more today and then figure it out tomorrow. You can tell my math skills suffer just a little bit. Welcome back to the program. Before we get to the Bob Ritchie post-game press conference, I want to, did I not load that? I sure did not. I want to tell you about our friends at Security Complete. And I talked about them a little bit on Friday and told you how I made the change for my family because, you know, I had a local company that was very, very big in the upstate, and I loved the service. And I knew that if my alarm went off and the phone call came, I knew where it was coming from. Well, when they were bought out by a larger company, now the phone call came from an 800 number, and it caused some issues because I didn't know who it was from, didn't answer it, and it led to all sorts of confusion one day here at the Scott Family Ranch. I have changed my service over to Security Complete. Small local company, local ownership. They do the installation, they do the service. There's no subcontracting. Combined, the guys who run this thing have over 40 years of industry experience. And I think the a couple of big things to point out here. First of all, no contracts. They're not going to tie you into a 2-year service monitoring contract. You can go month to month if you want to. The system, when you buy it, you own it. It stays in your home. No, hey, the contract's up, you're not staying with us, we're coming back and getting their stuff. That's not how it works. Monitoring rates significantly less per month than the competition, and it covers intrusion, fire, video, and carbon monoxide. Full automation, remote arming and disarming, smart lighting, door lock control, garage door control, thermostat, app services, and notification. In other words, folks, they do it all. Find out more by calling 864-546-0360, 864-546-0360. On Facebook, it's Security Complete. The other thing I was going to tell you, the second important point for me, is I know where their servicing monitoring system is. And I know where the phone call is coming from. It's coming from a 704 number in North Carolina. So I don't have to worry about it. I see that pop up. It's either going to say Security Complete, or it's going to come from a 704 number. No more 800 numbers coming in. And has anybody else been having this issue? Even though my cell phone number's on the national no-call list, has anybody else been getting bombarded by telemarketing calls? So that added to the confusion. That's why, among other reasons, I switched to Security Complete, and I think you should as well. All right, Bob Ritchie, after the Furman big win over Wofford Saturday afternoon, led by as many as 31 after trailing 11-2. I think Bryant Lambert at one juncture said after going down 11-2, Furman had outscored Wofford something like 60-29, and it went on from even there. It was a big moment, a big win for Bob Ritchie's team, and after the game, he met with the press and had these comments. Check them out.
Last right there. For many reasons. Well, proud of the guys' effort tonight. I thought the intensity level that we showed was what we've shown at times throughout the year, and I thought we played as hard as we played all year. I thought we were as connected on defense as we've been all year, and I thought that we got back to understanding that, even though the team has the capability to score 80, that's not who we are. If you do that, then that's fine, but we got to go out there and defend. And it's not, individual defense is not good enough, especially when you're playing an offense that talented. You have to be connected, and you have to be able to flow to the ball. You got to get pressure on the ball, and I thought because we were able to do that, it really frustrated them, and we were able to get out and run because of the stops and got the tempo how we wanted it. And once we did that, the ball movement was phenomenal, and we just played a complete game. I thought we were great teammates out there today. I thought the energy level was great. I thought we flew around on defense, and I thought we moved the ball, and that's what Furman basketball is about.
Was there anything particular you said at that timeout with 16-46 to go in the first half, down 11-2?
You know what? I really just calmed them down. We missed 3 layups, and they hit a couple transition shots. And I saw that we were flying around on defense. I saw that we had good intent. It wasn't the same as Wednesday. Wednesday we got off to a really lethargic start, but I could see us out there playing hard, and we were getting the shots we wanted. Really, what I just did was try to relax them. Brought them over and just said, settle down. We threw in a play call, just to try to calm them down a little bit. And I don't know what the run was after that. It seemed like they went a little while after that without scoring though. 16-0. 71-41. 74-41 from the timeout. How about that?
Coach, the thing, you had a first half like that, you go in up 18 at the half, and then you come out and score the first 7 points in the second half. And I know that's something that you're kind of big on, following up that same intensity you had throughout the first half coming out of the gate in the second.
Yeah, all halftime speeches are basically the same when you're down close to 20 at the half like they were. Basically, let's get this thing down to 10 at some point, and then we'll go from there. And you got to take their hope. You got to take their spirit from them. And that first 4 minutes in the second half is always crucial. And I thought Daniel came out and got the deflection on the first play, and even though we didn't convert it, it was still more of a mentality that we're going to keep guarding. And we were able to boost the lead up. And I think that that ends up just breaking spirit. And, we see it in sports all the time that if they come out right there, and as well as they shoot it from 3, they come out right there and hit 2, now you're at 12, well, now you got your ball game. And so credit to our guys on coming out of the locker room with the right mentality. And, I just thought that our connected intensity tonight was just phenomenal. And I thought everybody that came in off the bench, how about Clay Mounts, Alex Hunter, Jalen Williams with a career day for sure. I don't even know what the stats are. Everybody's going to talk about the offense. How about his defense? To have a part in holding Cam Jackson to 4 points was just a phenomenal day for all of our post players. But Jalen had an excellent day.
Talk about Daniel Fowler and his defensive effort, I guess, on Fletcher, and also, I guess, Andrew Brown played him some. Was that the intent to kind of switch guys on him?
Yeah, we wanted to keep guys fresh on him, and we knew Daniel was going to take the majority of the load, but Hoover's playing at a great level right now as well in terms of how he's shooting the ball, so we really had to chase 2 guys. And, Alex Hunter was the one that was kind of secondary on Fletcher, and for a freshman, to watch him defend like he does when he's really turned on, it's fun. But I'll tell you what, Daniel, phenomenal job. Daniel did a great job in Spartanburg on him. We didn't guard. We did a terrible job on Stump, and we did a bad job on Hoover. Today, Hoover was 4 for 13, and Stump was 2 for 5 total. And I think those were key points that Fletcher's so good. Fletcher's going to get his. Cam's so good. He's going to get his. You can't let 4 guys go out there and just beat you like that. And I thought that our team did a great job. And all their misdirection stuff, all their handoffs, all their ball screens, everything that they do pin down wise, there's no way anybody can guard that one-on-one. And everybody will talk about how Daniel did and how Alex did. They did a great job. Let me tell you something. Our post players did a phenomenal job in those situations. And to have to deal with that many handoffs, to have to deal with that many pin downs, they did an excellent job of carrying the game plan to the game. And it made it to where we didn't have to adjust our game plan. That's one of few games where we've been able to basically go the distance and just keep the same defensive game plan and not have to go to any contingencies whatsoever. And just proud of our guys for that.
Speaking of the post players, you had your taller guys in there a good bit more. Jalen, Clay, and Matt at the same time, which I think we've seen.
We haven't seen this year, and I was about 21 Wednesday, and so I just felt like in that time we were able to do some things to go big and try to get an edge on the offensive glass and just bring some physicality to the game. And Matt did a great job. He's so smart. We've worked on, we call it our strong package. We've worked on that, through some time, and probably should have done it Wednesday night and in some other games where we're dealing with some size. But this team tonight showed that they were capable of doing that. And some of it's going to be on matchups, right? Some of it's just, defensively what we're able to do and what we're able to get away with. But I thought for the most part, it didn't really affect our offense. Really, get the ball inside, get on the offensive glass a little bit. We were still able to keep the court spaced. Matt hit that 3, and he's shooting the ball so well that he still at least pulls a defender. He's, as we say, he's got gravity. So if you got 4 guys out there with gravity, it really helps you offensively. So we don't have to give up necessarily a shooter. Maybe have one less attacker, but at least we still have some guys that can shoot the ball out there.
Devin didn't have like a Devin type game per se stat wise, but he starts the game on the bench today. Can you talk about that decision a little bit? And then when he came in, I think the first thing he did was drive the hole and drop out from McGee. So he kind of brought some energy off the bench, I thought, and the bench had a great day overall.
What did you see? Did you like his countenance out there? Devin, did you like his countenance out there? Devin? His countenance, like his face, his expressions, how he looked. He did, right? What he's got to do? He's got to go enjoy the game.
And it's been another wild week of upsets.
This basketball is about basketball.
Take us through your number
one. It will
one
always
seed.
be about that. We're going to be good teammates. We're going to defend, and we're going to share the ball. If you do that, you can play as much as you want. If you don't, you're going to play less. And I love Devin more than anybody. that
Walk
I
us
shouldn't
through
say
them. You got
anybody. I love them just as much as
Villanova,
everybody on this
Xavier, and
roster.
Purdue.
Okay, but
Yeah, it was a tough week to be at the top
it's
of the
not out of bad
bracket.
intent.
Villanova and
Devin is a
Purdue
phenomenal
lost
human
home
being,
games this
but
week.
we've got to get
Number
him
2
focused
seed
on what he
Auburn
needs to be
also
focused
lost
on.
at home.
And you know, it's something I'm trying to pull the pressure off of him. And I told him that we were going to make the change to get more energy into the run-up. I thought Wednesday watching the film, I thought we just had a lethargic, unconnected look to us. And you know, it's one of those situations where I wanted to bring some more energy in, and I wanted to make I wanted to make a statement to the team that this is what we're about. And if we're about those things, we can have success. And it's not an individual, it's a team. And the greatest things in life happen because of a group. The greatest things in life happen because you're able to do things bigger than yourself. And I know there's a lot of pressure on Devin. I don't like the fact that there's pressure on Devin. I think it's taken away from his moment to enjoy this. But what I'm hoping is through this that we can relax him, and in a couple weeks when we get to go to Asheville, we're going to have him back to where he needs to be, and understanding that he's a phenomenal player. But he's just got to understand that regardless of the frustration, regardless how people are playing him, there's just a certain way that he's got to play. And I thought he did tonight. You know, I don't even know what the stats were for him. You know, he had 6 points, he had 2 assists and 1 turnover. You know, he had 3 rebounds. I thought that was improvement. And if he can keep showing that, then what will happen is he'll defend better. He'll be more connected out there. And then the offense, the guy could be out there half asleep and score points. He's a tremendous offensive talent, but he's got to go play the game the way we play the game. And I've seen him do it before. He's done it before, but seniors is different, guys. Seniors at this level is a different deal. And, you know, Chattanooga last year I thought was an example of that. You know, they get to the end of their career and they have a month left, and if they're not careful, they start looking to next year, and they start worrying about what is next year going to entail. And we got to keep this thing about the team, and I got to help him with it. You know, I got to help him with it, and we got to love him through this. But Devin's going to respond. I thought he responded today. I really did. I liked his face. I liked his expression, and I liked his defense out there.
He was one of the 9 guys in the first half that had assists.
Correct.
9 different guys with assists in the first half.
We had 9 different guys with an assist. He had 2 of them. Yeah. You know, and he's a great player, and he draws a lot of help, and defenses are flying to him. And it was funny, you know, in practice, I don't think he'd mind me telling y'all this, but Thursday I put a 2-dribble limit on him. And he played for 16 minutes, and he had 13 points. And anytime he dribbled a third time, it was a turnover. And I was trying to make a point to him, and guess how many turnovers he had? 0. And 13 points in 16 minutes. I think any of us will take that, right? But the difference is trust your teammates. You got great players around you. Trust them, move it. And once you do that, then defenses can't load up to you, and it becomes a whole different deal out there. And I think, again, 18 assists, that's an area where we have not had a high assist versus this team because of the way they really pack it in. They really flow hard to the ball. Most of the time we've gone to more one-on-one play with this team, and we haven't been able to get the high volume of assist. And tonight we were able to do that. And that wasn't just because he just played 15 minutes. I think it was because, like I said, and like you said, he bought into playing that way. And his offense will continue to come.
As a first-year head coach, you talked about, you know, figuring out how to get Devin to respond and some things like that. Has that been on an individual basis with each player? Has that probably been the toughest thing for you as a coach?
You know, I've got a little bit of a very relational human being, you know, and I'm sympathetic in a lot of ways. And it's always hard when guys don't play their best. You know, it's always hard when you got to make decisions like that. But you got to do what's best for him. You know, and it's nothing where you worry about how necessarily he's going to respond to it or anything like that. It's just you're just hoping that he goes out the right way, right? You're hoping that he finishes this thing on a high note. And you know, one thing I've always thought is, if you're going to coach 18 to 22-year-olds based on what they think and how they feel, all right, I know this. Between 18 and 22-year-old, I had no sense, okay, none. So I can't worry about what their response necessarily is. I've just got to hold them accountable that they have to do these things. And that helped me when I was that age, and that's the way we have to coach. We got to coach them for the 30-year-old version of themselves. And I think that, do I worry about? Nah, listen, we've got great people, and he's a great person. And this is just one of those things. He's coming off being player of the year, and he gets a lot of attention. People load him hard. And, you know, I have this feeling that he's just going to slowly get back to who he is, and we're going to roll to Asheville, and he's going to be playing his best ball.
Talk about what that really means.
You know what? I think it's a word that we've used a lot on both sides of the ball. It's what team is, right? And we all get caught up in the individual pieces of what makes great teams, but great teams are made because they are connected, and they're connected in their purpose, right? And you can have great individual players, but if they don't go play with the other four guys in a connected way, you're not going to have the results you want. The beauty of basketball is to be able to, on offense, to move a ball and to move a defense and to work together to create an open shot. That's what's fun to watch. All right. That's why I don't watch much NBA. Why? Because for the most part, unless you're watching the Spurs or the Warriors or the Celtics, it's just guys going in isolation and it's just one-on-one ball. And that's the connected piece on offense. And the defense is the same thing. I mean, we're not the biggest team out there. So we have to flow to the ball. We have to rotate. We have to make sure that we know our assignments. And in every single rotation, there's never a one-man rotation. There's never a two-man rotation. Usually 5 guys are involved. And so as soon as one guy is out of that rotation, or much less if 2 guys are out of that rotation, you're toast. The guy on the ball and the guy rotating over, they can do the right thing. They're going to get an open shot. And so that connection of understanding what my teammates are doing. I've got my teammates back, and you're just playing together. And I think there's power in that. I really do. I think that's why I like ball movement. I think when the ball moves and there's 5 guys engaged, everybody touches the ball, I think it just empowers people to feel like, hey, I'm part of this possession. But when you come down and you say, hey, ISO so-and-so, then 4 guys in their mind are thinking, all right, well, hopefully he scores. If he doesn't, I guess we'll just run back and go play defense. And that's what we mean when we mean connected. We've got to be as one out there, and when we are, we're really good.
All right, that was the vast majority of Bob Ritchie's press conference following the win over Wofford on Saturday at Timmons Arena. And of course, that was preceded by Jackie Carson's women's team scoring a 20-point win over Western Carolina. So it was a big, big day for both teams at Timmons. And now for Bob Ritchie's team, as mentioned, closing out the 3-game homestand Thursday against Chattanooga, and then on the road to Samford on Saturday of this week. As we get set to go to break, let me remind you about Ridge Media LLC, a one-stop shop based in Greenville that does logo, print, and website design, as well as search engine optimization and marketing. Their clients range from startups all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. They're locally owned. They have offices in Greenville and in Charleston, and you can find out more and schedule a free consultation. Won't cost you a thing. Find out what they can do for your business. Call 864-354-6175, 864-354-6175 for Ridge Media. All right, to break, and when we come back, among the other things, we'll give you some more news from Furman's campus, and then have you seen where the NCAA basketball tournament selection committee released its top 16 seeds if the tournament started now? And a couple of surprises in there. We'll talk about that and much more as the Dan Scott Show continues right after this.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Traveler's Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
Good to have you with us here on this edition of the show. I am Dan Scott, and we are live here in studio. Highlight number 5 on our 9 days of highlights countdown to the first pitch for Furman baseball. Again, no particular order of importance until we get to numbers 2 and 1, which in my estimation were the 2 biggest moments of last year. I'm sure there will be some discussion about that. That's what makes things like this fun, you know? But anyway, this was a big moment for a senior named Sky Overton, who had a phenomenal Southern Conference tournament. You talk about closing out your career in grand style. He made the all-conference team, and over the last, like many of the other Paladins, the last 28 to 30 games of the year, played the best baseball of his career, hands down, consistently doing some great things. And this was the first game of Sunday when Furman went into Elimination Sunday, having to beat UNCG twice to win the conference championship. This was the first game. Will Gaddis had come out of the bullpen and snuffed out a rally in the top of the 8th inning. And Furman led at that time by, I think it was just a single run. Sky Overton would add to that lead and do so with a little bit of flair. Sky taking his time, getting back in, taps the head of the bat on the plate. Wentz brings the 2-2. And a fly ball, deep left center field. That ball's got a chance. That ball is gone. It's gone. Right at that notch in left center field. A home run for Sky Overton. And look at him, he's sprinting around the base paths. Number 6 of the year for Sky. And the Paladins lead it by 2. He had his fist in the air as he rounded second base, banged his chest as he got to third, and high-stepped it at home. Sky never was one to be bashful. That was a fun moment and a big moment in last season, and of course the Paladins would win that game, force a winner-take-all championship game. That also would tie the school record for single-season wins at 33. So it was a big moment, and Sky Overton had a great tournament and a fantastic finish to his senior season. That is moment number 5. We'll get number 4 for you tomorrow. All right, so now as we move on here, I mentioned there's a ton of other stuff from campus to talk about. Wally King, the interim head coach of Furman softball, you remember Kyle Jamison left to take a associate head coach position for Clemson as they're starting their program. So Wally King, who just came in as an assistant this offseason, now is put in the position of interim head coach. Well, after getting rained out in what should have been his debut last week, they go to Auburn to play in the Plainsman Invitational, and they go 2-2 in that Invitational. In his first career game, they beat Marshall by a final score of 3-1. And then the highlight of the week was a game against Wichita State, in which they were down 6-0, but come storming back, and in the bottom of the 7th inning, that young lady right there, Anna Rose Borelli, smacked a game-winning walk-off, if you want to use that term, 2-run home run to complete a comeback and give Furman an 8-7 victory. So they go 2-2 in the Plainsman Invitational, and they will make their home debut for 2018 on Friday at Pepsi Stadium against Colgate, a doubleheader beginning at 3 p.m. That was a big moment for Anna Rose Borelli, a big moment for Wally King. So they go 2-2 down at Auburn, lost in the final game to Auburn by a score of 9-1 but that does not take away from the big weekend that they had there, and a good start for Wally King as the interim head coach of the Paladin softball team. A bunch of other things from campus, as mentioned. Tennis was in action. We talked about the lacrosse matchup and very nearly pulling off the stunning upset of a nationally ranked North Carolina team in Chapel Hill, by the way, but coming up short in overtime. Richie Mead's club played awfully well. But you know how that goes. It's not a moral victory. There are no moral victories. He will tell you, and I think they will tell you, took the lead late, less than 2 minutes to go, that big comeback, and they feel like they should have finished that one off. Instead, they get beat in overtime. But it was a heck of a performance on the road against a nationally ranked North Carolina team. All right, now, have you seen the bracket preview by the tournament committee? I'm going to try to do this on the fly and get this up on the screen for you so you can see what I'm looking at here. So when you see the screen change and do some funky things, don't adjust, because I'm actually putting this up on the fly as we go. But the committee has started doing this thing now where they are releasing, if the tournament started today, these would be the top 16 seeds, the top 4 seeds in every bracket. And in doing so, generating obviously some conversation. Not as if the NCAA tournament needs any more hype. I think we all agree that from a postseason standpoint, it's probably the best thing going in all of intercollegiate athletics, and it provides such great theater, usually year in and year out. However, trying to get, come on now, where'd you go? You say you see me struggling here, right? And naturally, it doesn't look like it's going to pop up. Oh well, I'll just tell you about it, and we'll figure it out from there. The bottom line, fade from black back to the screen. Bottom line is this: that the 16 teams, should the bracket tournament start today, are these. In the South region, Virginia is the overall number 1 seed. Cincinnati is the 2, Michigan State the 3, and Tennessee was the 4. And that probably in and of itself is a pretty big surprise. You know, Furman saw that Tennessee team in Knoxville in the final non-conference game of the year on December 30th, and came away from there thinking that, you know, they should have won that game, or very least could have won that game. Fell 66-61, but Tennessee has played great all season long. Rick Barnes in his 3rd year is doing a phenomenal job there. The Midwest region, Purdue was the 1 seed, Kansas 2, North Carolina 3, and Arizona 4. In the East region, Villanova is the 1 seed, followed by Duke, Texas Tech, and Ohio State. And then in the Midwest region, Xavier 1, Auburn 2, Clemson would be 3rd if the tournament started today, and Oklahoma would be number 4. So Brad Brownell's team continuing to play at a high level of basketball would be a number 3 seed according to the committee if the tournament started this week. It's been just a phenomenal turnaround for Brad Brownell. Again, after last season, a year they thought was going to be a big year, and it turned into a trip to the NIT and a first-round exit. There was a lot of talk as to whether or not he was going to keep his job. He did, and basically without anywhere near the hyper expectations, they're 20-4. And again, if everything started right now, they would be the number 3 seed in the tournament. Of course, we know it doesn't start right now. There's still a few weeks to go, but it's always fun to kind of talk about those things a little bit and see what the committee is thinking at this juncture. So I don't know, something that we can discuss a little bit moving forward. The other things, we're just kind of counting down to what else is going on campus and trying to get into the Olympics. Normally, I really like the Winter Olympics because there are so many unusual sports, more so than in the Summer Olympics. I mean, when else do you see the luge? All the downhill skiing. I kind of got fascinated a little bit from a downhill skiing, and I'm not talking about the giant slalom. I'm talking about just as fast as you can go, whatever that event is, from top to bottom. And going back to the 1976 Olympics, and for whatever reason, as a kid, I saw that, and the name Franz Klammer has always stuck with me. This run, and I remember, and maybe because you can go, I'm sure, and find the clip of his run that won the gold medal for him. I think East Germany, maybe West Germany, Middle Germany, one of those Germanys or somewhere. Not even that. I can't remember where he was from. But anyway, Franz Klammer. There's this one clip that sticks in my memory as he's coming down the hill at about 1,000 miles an hour and goes over just a little bit of a hump, and he goes airborne. And while he's airborne, you can see him kind of waggling his arms, and his leg kind of kicks out. Looks like he's going to lose his balance, but as he hits and sticks to landing, stays on his skis and goes on and wins the gold medal. Maybe he's from Austria because that was in Innsbruck, I think. But for some reason, that stuck with me. So I kind of like I have not watched 1 minute of the Olympics yet. Didn't see the opening ceremony. Have not watched 1 minute. I guess because the one time I turned it over, it was ice skating. Sorry, not to stereotype. If you're a guy and you like ice skating, so be it. But I'm a guy. I don't like ice skating. I think the luge is already run, and maybe there's some more. I'm looking forward to seeing some bobsled action. I love that. All the downhill skiing, the ski jumping, thrill of victory, agony of defeat, the wide world of sports, and the guy, taking the tank all the way down off the ski jump. So I really like the Winter Olympics. Haven't watched 1 minute of it yet, but I plan to change that as we go forward. And then, as mentioned, a lot of things going on campus. We'll be preparing for basketball on Thursday. Going to be doing a lot of work for baseball on Friday, and ready to get this thing rolling, man. Fun time of year. I got to tell you, as we get set to close out, I have to thank the folks at Ingalls and Channel 62, along with our folks at Furman, who made it possible. Getting a chance to do both of those games on over-the-air television. We do all the home games on ESPN3, but getting a chance to be on over-the-air TV was kind of neat. It's not something I get a chance to do a whole lot of. I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast if you watched it. The men's game, the place was packed, absolutely packed. They sold 1 ticket, got you both games, and as the women's game went on, the crowd built and built and built. And by the time the men's game tipped off, I think, now I may be wrong because my mind goes on me at times, and I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. But I'm in my 7th year, and I think that's the first time that it was a sellout to the point that they actually put a sold out sign on the ticket office at Timmons, and were turning people away. It was a phenomenal atmosphere. It really, really was. And you know what? It could have even been better. And maybe I'll have some thoughts about why a little bit later on in the week. But it was great. I truly enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If you didn't get a chance to come to Timmons, but boy, you missed a heck of an atmosphere. But the folks at Ingalls and Channel 62, thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it. Was humbled to have the chance to do both of those games. And who knows, maybe we'll get an opportunity to do some other stuff moving forward. having said all that, that's going to put a wrap on things for us. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for suffering with us through some of the technical difficulties early and then during the Bob Ritchie interview. We'll be back with you tomorrow, back in studio over on campus, and getting ready and continuing to count down towards baseball and a lot of other things going on here and elsewhere. But until then, you folks have a great rest of your Monday. I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you, and so long, everybody.